This Fantasia was conjured in your blinkered mind, Sven Carlson. Welcome to Legends of Gotham, where we talk about Fox's hit series Gotham, set in the world of Batman. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And Anne-Marie's cracking up.
I am, a little bit.
We're back.
We're back.
For yet another episode. Actually, I guess this is a semi-milestone. Episode 25
That's
of
kind
Legends
of a milestone.
Gotham.
I'll
Yeah,
take it.
definitely.
I'll take a
Especially, we're probably, what? 9 months in, 10 months in
Something
since
like
the
that.
first episode. Yeah, so episode 25.
It's
That
our
probably
baby.
makes sense. Yeah,
They no longer qualify for insurance.
it's about ready to leave home.
Never coming home.
Don't actually qualify for insurance.
Yeah, you get knocked
You
off
get the
your
discount.
No,
for
you get
25.
knocked off your parents' like health insurance and car
at
insurance and
25.
stuff. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, but we're not
This
here
just
to talk.
got really technical.
Yeah, we're
Sorry.
not here to talk insurance law. That's our other podcast, Legends of Insurance Law, where we talk about
LegendsofInsurance.com.
where we talk about Fox's hit series, that lawyer commercial that comes on at 11:30 p.m. Set in the world of real life. No, but the laughing. Hold on, laugh again, Emery. Laughing's appropriate this week. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the rhyming Ridley and episode summary, and then we'll start talking some Gotham.
When is a boy more like a bomb? When he is raised by a snake lady mom. Where can one find a fighting clown surplus? If you ask Jim +1, he'd say Hayley's Circus. Is the answer apparent? On Gotham, for sure. Will Robin be named Jim when the Graysons mature? Will Barbara break from what Jim didn't tell her? Many jokers to fear in the blind fortune teller.
The blind fortune teller.
The blind fortune teller,
The
then.
blind fortune teller.
Yes.
Emery, what did you think overall about this episode?
It was so good.
Good?
So many things.
I know,
Like,
it
for
was
re-
jam-packed.
Absolutely. I thought it was really just going to focus on, well, spoiler, the Joker storyline.
Yeah, well, people have seen the episode. We don't have to worry
One
about
would hope.
spoiling here.
One would hope.
You would think.
But yeah, there was so much more. And no lie, I was really excited to see Barbara back.
Yeah, especially with the new status quo for her and everything.
Mhm.
But okay, well, one of the things that I thought was rather interesting
Yes.
about this episode was the gentle steps Bruce Wayne takes forward in the whole Wayne Enterprises concern that his
Yes.
father and mother left behind. Now, Bruce is keeping track of, basically several of the subplots that we've had this season
Right.
in a little notebook. And I went ahead and pulled up a enlarged copy of the notebook page so we could take a look here. And this will be in the show notes at legendsofgotham.com. But there's if you remember from the Viper episode, there's a company called Wilson, I think. Wellsine, that was responsible for the Viper drug. And there was a connection discovered between that and Wayne Enterprises. So a lot of these notes that Bruce has here, when did the Wayne Enterprises board know of the research for Viper? Did my parents know about Wellsine?
Wellsine.
Why did Wayne Enterprises keep the Arkham Project? Why did they cede the Arkham Project to criminal organizations? You know, the Falcones and stuff. And the last one here that I thought was super duper interesting, right at the bottom. What is Indian Hill? Which, sorry, there's the music again. But yeah, as far as Indian Hill, Falcone is in control of it now. Maroney gave it to him at the Penguin's behest. So we know it's important. It's in play. Gotham City is made or falls on Indian Hill, apparently.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that, he's very much into that. I liked his doodling up at the top of the page.
It's creepy.
But, Wellsine doing the Viper stuff, basically warfare research, which Bruce mentioned on the notes. I think definitely connects back to, if you guys remember from the Viper episode, Warehouse 39, that got cleared out right before Harvey and Jim got
Showed
there
up,
by
yeah.
the one board member.
Yeah. Which she was being rude.
Well, I think she's probably heavily involved.
Well, yes.
Because she had a phone call with someone right after that. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't find anything.
Yeah, the other loudmouth in the board meeting, probably.
Yeah. But I definitely I do like the idea of Warehouse 39, and I really think that this is going to be a source of the more super villains moving forward. The Banes, the Killer Crocs, the Man Bats, that sort of
The
thing.
Condiment King.
No, the Condiment King doesn't have any superpowers. He just has a condiment gun that shoots guacamole, sour cream.
It had been a
ketchup,
few weeks. I had to bring
mustard.
him up. Sorry.
Oh no, it hasn't been a few weeks, but you're welcome to bring him up for sure. But yeah, it's definitely very interesting. And again, Indian Hill, super important.
I'm really curious as to what's going on with that whole Indian Hill thing. I also wonder why he didn't bring they called him out on it. He had no proof of anything.
Yeah.
I feel like he should have gone with some sort of proof, or was he just going to spook him to start with? Because he just walked out as soon as he was done talking. He didn't want answers.
Yeah, it kind of felt like this was a warning to the board.
It was. Yeah, he was definitely like, I will take this to the shareholders meeting, and there will be legal action.
Yeah. I'm aware of what you guys are doing. You might want to back off of that, or things are going to go your way.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Because, I mean, just because he didn't have any sort of proof, I feel like he should have had at least, one little receipt or notebook or folder in his pocket, basically.
Well, Batman works much like the NSA does these days, in which they'll find the result they want, the board being guilty of conspiring, and then they'll work backwards to find the proof, sort of thing.
Okay, that's fair.
But Batman does that a lot. And I mean, Batman isn't necessarily beholden to, needing to have evidence. So
Right.
It definitely makes sense to me for Bruce to kind of just be like, I don't need evidence. I have.
Right.
I'm a Wayne, gosh darn it.
This is my company, peoples. Mine. All mine.
Mine. But you wanted to talk a little bit about
Alfred. Alfred does not approve.
No.
Alfred is not a fan. Alfred doesn't want to end up dead in a ditch, basically, is what he's like. This is not safe. This is not a good idea. We should not do this. Alfred, we have been over this 100 times. I do not care what you. Okay, fine, Master Bruce.
Well,
this is the first time it feels like Alfred has not approved of something and hasn't been able to talk him down.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I think it probably has a little bit to do with their interactions last episode, to where they've kind of they kind of firmed up their relationship a little bit, to where Alfred is kind of in that fatherly position now, to where he's going to tell Bruce what he doesn't think should happen, but he also kind of showed Bruce that he has enough respect for what Bruce is doing, that he's not going to step in his way if he thinks doing what's right too.
He still technically works for Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, he's still his employee, and Bruce will throw that around whenever he needs to. So I don't know. That was interesting. But I really liked that even though he doesn't approve in any way, shape, or form, he supports him.
Yeah.
So, obviously he's going to be there because he doesn't want to see anything happen, because if Alfred wasn't there, who knows what could have happened in that board meeting.
Yeah.
So that kind of shows a little bit of respect for him, even. I don't know. So there's that.
Definitely. Always fun to see Bruce stepping up to the plate at Wayne Enterprises too. I have a feeling that we're going to possibly get a familiar face, like a Lucius Fox or something, coming in soon to watch the company for Bruce.
What's a Lucius Fox?
Morgan Freeman played him in the Batman
Can we
Begins,
just get
Dark
Morgan
Knight
Freeman?
Returns.
Can we just get Morgan Freeman?
I hope. Morgan Freeman?
I said Freeman.
Actually, isn't Morgan Freeman the opposite of Morgan Freeman, I guess?
Well, let's move on.
A fee versus free.
Okay.
Okay.
This is what I'm working with, people.
But okay, so speaking of working with, this has nothing to do with the phrase working with.
Nope.
Barbara came back to her apartment finally, her swanky apartment.
With no luggage of any sort.
A little tipsy, I think.
Oh, yeah.
A
little bit. Not sure on what, but.
She discovers Catgirl and Poison Ivy hanging out there eating peanut butter and.
That was Nutella. That wasn't peanut butter.
And a cereal from Quentin Tarantino movies, I believe. But so comes in there, finds them, and is pretty much okay with it. She's like, these two girls are hanging out in my apartment.
Who
whatever.
are you? Where's Jim?
Okay. We'll roll with it.
What are you eating?
But I did think it was interesting, especially considering how much that apartment looks like the classic watchtower from Birds of Prey, Oracle, Barbara Gordon, running a group of super heroines in Gotham City.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting that Barbara, who would become Barbara Gordon's mother in the comics, in some versions of the comics, would be, living with these two future supervillainesses
Right.
in a very watchtower type apartment. And so I thought it was kind of cool. Like maybe they're aiming Barbara to be sort of like a proto Oracle, and she's going to be running all these kid supervillains through Gotham City or something. But I mean, she's definitely going to have an axe to grind here now that she's seen Jim and Leslie making out.
Sailing, as you put it.
Yes, sailing.
They went sailing.
They did.
They went sailing.
Go sailing in the locker room there. So I'm thinking definitely Barbara is going to have a big conflict with Leslie, I think, and
oh yeah.
So I think there's definitely something there, and I also thought it was interesting that Jim is so resistant to Leslie helping out too, and it got me thinking about like the differences between Barbara and Leslie, and I think that might be part of the issue is that Jim was really comfortable in the relationship with Barbara because she kind of like she sat at home and she didn't mess with stuff, or she didn't mess with his work too much. She was kind of an escape for it, and when they started having problems was when she started trying to interject herself into his cases at work. And so I think that's his main concern with Leslie kind of jumping. Go
ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say the problem is that Leslie is a professional.
Right.
At the same time, so where Barbara's an artist, she probably shouldn't be involved in police cases. Leslie has
all the right to be there.
And in fact, she's there because Jim suggested she go after the job.
Right. That's what I was going to say is they met at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't really expect her just to go to the back. You were calling her in on that case. You were asking for her help. And now you're like, no, go make cookies or pie rather.
Yeah, well, that was just a joke.
I know. But kind of. It kind of was. No, kind of.
I think it
was said as a joke, but
I think he definitely prefers pie over cookies. I don't think he was honestly being like,
Well, he wanted her to leave.
Well, I don't think it was a get in the kitchen kind of joke.
No, but it was get out of my crime scene.
But I definitely think that, Jim is kind of coming to terms with this new dynamic situation and everything. And through gritted teeth, he's learning to look at her as more of a professional partner as well as a romantic one. I think he's realizing it's more of a him problem than a them problem, and it's something he needs to get over.
But he just wanted to eat his dinner.
He did just want to eat his dinner.
I wanted to eat the dinner. It looked delicious.
Yeah.
And they got like 2 bites, and she's like, "No, we gotta go."
And then she kept stepping all over Ed first, like,
oh, that's so not smart.
Over the body thing, and then someone besides Ed had a riddle in this episode, and she solved it.
Oh, I missed it.
They didn't even bring it to Ed, who loves riddles.
He does love it. Oh, that riddle.
The whole vision thing.
Yeah.
Message from beyond the grave.
Interesting.
But yeah, a lot of interesting things with Barbara this week.
Nice.
Interested to see where she's going.
You're like, Barbara, back to her. Yeah. It seemed, okay, first of all, she wasn't even fazed that there were street kids living into her apartment, but she made friends.
Mm-hmm.
She just
quick
sat
friends.
Real quick. She's like, all right, cool. And was seeking out their advice. She's like, so I wear this?
Like their dating advice.
Yeah. And they're like, no, lady. Like, you look like a hawker. And she did. But he loves me in this color. He may love you in that color, but there's not enough of it.
I wonder if she connected that Poison Ivy is the other woman that answered the phone a few weeks back. Probably not.
No. She's on too much.
She was too high.
She still is. Which is probably why she didn't care that there were 2 14-year-old girls living in her apartment.
She's in a constant state of high.
Probably. So Selena also seems significantly less creeped out by Ivy since the 2 of them have basically been living in a penthouse. So I was like, perhaps heat and food have done that. They both seem a little less like cracked out.
Yeah.
Especially Ivy. She's not as twitchy and creepy because she's not, living in a cardboard box with hypothermia or whatever.
Yeah, living on the street will make you a little cracked out.
A little cracked out.
A little bit.
Possibly, literally. And I think, in a way, Barbara was happy to have someone there who wasn't criticizing her and critiquing her and being mean, in a sense. Like, not that Jim did that completely? He just
Yeah.
he told her to back off.
No, I can definitely see that because, Jim was that way. And then right at the end, Renee was that way.
Right. Well, she had to be. She knew it wasn't a good thing.
And then obviously her parents were that way too.
Her parents are like, "Why are you here? Go away."
Yeah, so she probably really appreciated just someone who was
some companionship.
Yeah, just willing to chill.
Right.
Give her some sailing tips.
Yeah. Give her some food.
Yeah. Interesting.
So there's that.
Okay, well, we're gonna take a little break here, and
Mini
then
break.
Yeah, just a mini break, little teeny break, which we always do here. First off, we always like it. Well, reviews are great because they help us rise the charts in iTunes so people can discover the podcast. Plus, if people are out there looking for a Gotham podcast and they go and they find, say, 24 great reviews for a podcast, then they're more likely to check it out, right?
Right.
And so we love it when you guys can go leave reviews for us over on iTunes or Stitcher Radio or wherever you find your podcast.
Yes, please.
And when you do, we read them no matter how good or bad they are.
Or bad they are. My favorite is the 1-star review that was glowing.
Yeah, probably the best review we've gotten for the podcast, and it was
A 1-star, so we didn't really know what to do with that.
Nice, but Anne-Marie, you want to read this one from
Sure.
Enchanted Rose?
This is from Enchanted Rose called Legends of Podcasting. We should do that.
Legends of
Podcasting. We're going to tape this down. Okay. I'm so psyched that Anne-Marie and Bill have dedicated a podcast to my new TV obsession, Gotham. I'm a faithful listener of their Greetings from Storybrooke podcast and always enjoy their insights, opinions, banter, and even, gasp, singing.
La 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 la.
AM and Bill do a great job including their listeners in the fun too, and usually read feedback, theories, or play voicemails they've received. I also love that you don't have to know the comic book canon to appreciate this podcast. They do a great job of explaining relationships and history of characters, which has deepened my understanding of the TV series plots. Well done. And the reason we explain all those is because I don't know nothing.
Which is why the dynamic works so well,
It's
right?
why it works, folks. So thank you so much, Enchanted Rose, for watching both of our shows.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you want us to read...
Well, 2/3 of our shows. We'll get into that.
If you want us to read your review on the podcast, just go over to iTunes or over to Stitcher or wherever you get your podcast and just leave a review. And actually, you know what we'll do this week? And we did this over on Greetings, actually, and it was a lot of fun. You know how we do the rhyming, riddling episode summaries at the top of every episode?
Yeah.
Why don't you leave us a rhyming, riddling review?
That would be awesome.
It would be super fun, right?
I like it.
If you don't like rhyming, it can just be riddling. If you don't like riddling, it can just be rhyming. Mix and match. Rhyming, riddling. We'll read it on the show next week. Okay, now it is time for our lovely segment that we have every single week and we'll never not have. Look at this Joker.
Look at this Joker.
He's on the show.
Hey, look at this
His name's
Joker.
Jerome. He does Joker stuff.
Hey, look at this Joker.
Look at this Joker.
His name's Jerome.
Yes, look at this Joker, where we look at the hints, clues, and other stuff.
Obvious marketing that tells you that.
Yeah, and
this episode was no joke.
You know what? Usually I go over all of the things that we've done previous weeks, but I'm just going to skip down here to season 1, episode 16, and it has a picture of the character Jerome from this episode. Looks like we're done here, guys. Check out episode 25 for our thoughts on the Joker's origin. Next week is called Red Hood, so we might have a little something more, but this is probably going to be it. And yeah, this isn't even a segment anymore. Rip the Look at this Joker segment. We're just getting back into our main talking points. We just saved our Joker talking points until right now.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to sing the song one last time.
Look at this Joker.
Everybody, look at this Joker. Look at this Joker. Look at this Joker now.
So he's going to be in jail, but isn't he like kind of famous for like busting out crazy?
He's been known to bust out of jail every once in a while.
Okay.
When the
Do you think they'll put him in Arkham?
I would imagine.
Or do you think they'll put him in actual jail?
He seemed pretty nutty.
He seemed pretty nutty, but he seemed pretty with it.
Yeah, it all depends. But I guess we should start
talking
about the character.
I was just curious.
Okay, just a few general impressions off the top here for the episode. First of all, I thought he was channeling Jack Nicholson's Joker.
He may have been, yeah.
Like back and forth in the other. And just first of all, the face when they discover the mom's dead body when he falls to the ground. Like that was, I can't do like a Jack Nicholson smile. Like, no, I can't do it anymore. I used to be able to do a Jack Nicholson smile. Yeah. No, I can't do it. I was trying to, but yeah, he made that Jack Nicholson face, and the voice also felt like a middle ground between Jack Nicholson's Joker and Heath Ledger's Joker, in a lot of ways. And it was just I know that Cameron, the actor who plays Jerome / the Joker in this episode.
Oh, no wonder I was confused by your notes. You wrote Keith
Oh, okay.
instead of Heath, and I was like, who's Keith?
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
No, but Cameron did say he didn't really he wasn't trying to copy anybody's performance, but you could definitely see those influences.
Oh,
there.
you have to. I mean, there's no way you can play such an iconic character and not have any sort of influence.
Yeah, and the laugh was a little bit Mark Hamill too. Sorry.
He really likes playing with this new board, guys. I'm sorry.
Give me like 2 more weeks and I'll be done with all the effects on the
No,
voice.
he won't. It's going to become permanent.
But no, I really liked his portrayal overall, and I also thought it was interesting that he mentions when you're baiting a clown in the next room. I thought it was very similar to Fish Mooney's fake origin story that she gave a few weeks back to Liza, and I also thought it was interesting that Liza was playing Falcone's mom, and then Lila, which is a very similar name, is Jerome's mom here.
Okay.
So I wonder if they're probably just working a thematic like mom connection between the characters almost, because it seemed like there are 2 parallels there. One, Fish's fake origin story is very similar to the Joker's actual origin story, and then Liza, Lila are very similar names, and also the Joker, the first big Joker story, I believe, or not the first big, but one of the big ones, involves the laughing fish. So
tell us more about this laughing fish, sir.
I know there was Joker venom or Joker toxin involved. I think he either put it in the fish to make them look all like Joker fishes, or he put them in the fish and it poisoned people and made them Joker out and die.
Interesting.
But there's a fish connection with the Joker too, so I'm wondering if there's going to be some sort of throwdown between those 2 characters before Fish bites it.
Interesting. I don't know if she's biting it by the end of the season either. I might take that one back. We'll see though.
But what were your thoughts on the Joker overall? Did you have anything specific, or you can go ahead and discuss it a little in specifics if you want to.
I'm thinking. I mean, he was definitely a perfect young Joker. Definitely a loner. Definitely working alone. Do you think the reason his origin is how he chooses the whole clown thingy?
Oh yeah, definitely.
This has to be the reason that all.
Well, he's circus folk, so I'm sure once he has the accident that turns him, white and pasty and everything,
He
he's
was
like,
pretty
yeah,
white
that's
and
perfect.
pasty to begin with. Look at him.
Yeah, well, he's
a ginger.
He's a ginger, so yeah, naturally he's gonna.
I mean,
have
he's a
very
ginger.
pale
He's
skin.
already pale. You can barely see his eyebrows. No, I'm just curious to see where it goes because we know we're not done with him for the season. There's no way they're just gonna lock him up and forget about him after all the no joke stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was really nice too how that you could just see that switch flip like there.
Oh, yeah.
Once he realized that they were trying to get that he realized that he wasn't in control of the situation anymore. He was like, okay, then I can drop this facade. That game's over. Let's start a new game.
Yeah.
And let's start the.
It's definitely playing angles and the quick drop that the last one. Well, I don't even remember what exactly they were saying. He's talking to his father, and then all of a sudden back to Jim. What are you talking? What's the problem? What's the issue?
Oh yeah, just the sudden
The
shifts.
sudden
in mood.
shifts. So it's pretty interesting to see how that all goes.
I also like how his dad, Cicero, the blind fortune teller, how his hat looked very much like the hat that Jack Nicholson's Joker wore in the '89 Batman movie. Also, I mean, Cicero's character, I forget the actor's name, but he played Hector, Uncle Hector, or Tio, on Breaking Bad. The guy with the bell, ding ding ding. If you've seen Breaking Bad, you know what I'm talking about. But he did a really good job too.
Nice.
I guess he also a couple weeks back played Felix Faust on Constantine. So another case of a villain on one show coming over to another one.
Nice. Rebecca Johnson would like us to bring back Look at This Joker anytime Jerome shows up.
That's fair.
I think we can make that happen because we know Rebecca appreciates our horrible singing.
That's...
And Bobby Hawk thinks he poisoned the water supply and it ended up poisoning the fish. So maybe Jerome is going to poison the 60 cases of water that the people down below are going to get.
I could definitely see that. And I also, I kind of get the impression that, you know, next week being the Red Hood game and everything, the Joker being introduced this week, yeah, Jerome might have something to do with that. I almost thought that maybe this was part one of a multi-tiered, like, overly complicated Joker plan.
It probably is.
Yeah.
It's the Joker.
Like this, because if you know anything about comic book Joker stories, the way the Joker generally starts is he has one little crime, pretty obvious, pretty easy for Batman to solve, to kind of, you know, get in the room with him, get playing with him a little bit, and then stage 2 starts. And I mean, like, if you've seen The Dark Knight, that's exactly how it went down.
That's how it works, yeah.
He intentionally got caught so he could get in the interrogation room with Batman and then present Batman with the choice between Maggie Gyllenhaal and the guy from Thank You for Smoking, Aaron Eckhart.
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
But no, very interesting, and I definitely I think it would be fun if you know he was involved with the Red Hood gang behind the scenes or something too.
Probably.
Hopefully, we'll see a little bit.
For being
more about
16, he's pretty savvy.
Yes,
And
very
for
much.
being a carny, like they move around.
The actor is 21 years old.
Right, but he's playing 16.
Yeah.
He looks they have him made up pretty well to look 16.
Mhm.
So, okay, Dr. Tompkins.
Dr. Tompkins.
I think
Wait, hold on. Go ahead.
She really solved the case.
Oh yeah.
She's the one who actually did anything. Jim really was just like, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, she's the one who kept pushing it
She's
forward.
like, no, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this, and she was the only one able to get the circus people even talking.
Uh-huh.
She's like, yeah, people talk to doctors. Everybody's telling him, I don't know anything. No, no police officer, man, I don't know anything. It had to do with Lila. Mary, stop it. Definitely wouldn't have figured out the blind psychic. She may not have taken him seriously. She wanted to because it was fun, but it at least got her thinking, and then she was able to solve the riddle.
Yeah.
Like there was no way she was going to take that to Ed anyway. And there's no way he was barely listening. He was like, I'm done.
I love the little boy who led the blind psychic in, though, with the coonskin cap,
Yes,
like
I was
just
like,
like that
what is
anachronistic thing.
That was crazy. And she is definitely very enthusiastic and was kind of becoming annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not just me.
No,
Good,
I
because
can
I
see
was
that.
like, do I really want Gorkins now? Because I don't know if I want to deal with her. But
yeah, like sometimes.
What's better, the over enthusiastic I'm going to take over your life, or the addict? I don't really know.
See, the thing is it kind of struck me as a little bit like Ricky, I want to be in the show, which is very diminutive considering that Leslie Tompkins is a professional, and I mean she has a reason to be there. And like I think at some points they were playing the character a little Ricky, I want to be in the show, and it just it felt like it brought the character down a level for me.
It made her very much like that, very kind of like hyperactive kid. Like, no, I want to help. Let me go. Let's go now.
Yeah.
No, who waits till morning? Let's go now. Which really, it's a good thing they did because he'd have taken off. So that's my thoughts.
Okay, now as much as I loved the Joker part in this episode, I kind of felt that there were a couple things I didn't like about it after the Joker part and, you know, around the Joker part. For one, I felt like the episode felt like it was pretty much over after that interrogation scene.
Yeah, there was so much more to go.
Yeah, there were like 6 million endings. Yeah. It was like Lord of the Rings. I think that was one of my later points, but I'll go ahead and address it here. Yeah. But it was like Lord of the Rings at the end with all the endings. You know, there was Barbara finding Jim, Butch coming back, Bruce and the board, Fish's plan works in that facility and everything. And the thing that bothered me the most about it is they ended on the weakest ending of all of them, which was the Fish story. Like the Fish story was it wasn't an action ending or anything. It was just her walking off to go meet the person in charge of the facility.
I wrote it Diva Walk. Was that I addressed it because she was like, got this.
I mean, really the natural like cliffhanger for next week would have been Barbara walking in on Gorkins.
Yes.
#Gorkins.
#Gorkins.
But yeah, that felt a little weak overall, like just the multiple endings and then ending on the weakest one. And then there was also, I thought that like just like the commercial break cliffhangers were really rough and obvious this episode, where they felt the need to summarize what had happened before the commercial break, before moving on with the scene. Like, you know, they, for example, in the Fish Mooney break, when they come in and she's like, I'm in charge. I need to talk to, or what's your name or whatever. They said almost just like a reworked version of the same line at the beginning of the next part. And I don't know if I haven't noticed it before or as much in Gotham, or it was just really bad this episode, but there was a lot of that. Also, when Victor Zsasz with
that was
the whole Butch thing, where they just kept editing he had like a little chuckle, like, and they just edited over again, both before the commercial break and after the it cut to different angles, and it went on for like 15 seconds. And it was just really bad and really annoying. We did get to see Butch dancing, though.
That was fantastic. I think I had a point on that later.
That made me laugh, like, But there were some things I thought they did better, or I think definitely people out there will think they did better this episode, though, which a lot of complaints about Gotham, they don't think this is a very subtle show.
It's not. There's nothing subtle
about it. The question mark on the coffee cup, for example, or, you know, the scarecrow in the back of the shots last week. And people complain about this. They say it's too on the nose. It's too obvious. We don't need to be hammered over the head with who these characters are going to be. Obviously, this is mostly people who are fans of the comic making this complaint. But I thought they did a really good job in being very subtle with both character origins in this episode, both Robin's, or the Flying Graysons, and the Joker. Like, for one, the Flying Graysons, if you didn't know Dick Grayson was Robin's name,
you have no idea.
Yeah, you would have never known.
The only hint would be, if we have a son, we'll name him after you.
But then again, they don't even name him. They don't name him.
Who said it's going to stay that way? Who said it's going to stay that way?
I did see someone online point out that Dick is another word for private, or for detective.
Oh.
You know, like you could be a private dick. So that could be like the compromise.
Interesting.
But I thought it was nice. It was very subtle. And I also thought Jerome was very subtle too. In fact, if they hadn't made such a push for it in the marketing,
you'd never know.
He would have just been another suspect on our list. Yeah, he just would have been another addition to that Look at This Joker page, and we would have moved on and put, I don't know, one of the Red Hood guys in last week.
Next week.
Or next week, yeah.
Last week was Scarecrow. Yeah, I agree. I think they only pushed the marketing because they'd been dipping a little ratings wise, and they needed to get that back up before the end of the season. So that's probably why they pushed the marketing as hard as they did. But I think they'd have benefited more from being more subtle on that, because they didn't have to reveal that yet.
Yeah. On the other hand, though, I know I saw several people who had kind of sworn off the episode or the show after the pilot or the first couple episodes, who were like, okay, I'm going to watch it tonight because we got to see how they do this and if they do it right, because people care a lot about this character.
Yeah.
And they wanted something to complain about, so they had to watch.
Of course. Ratings, however, we got to get them.
But actually, like, I didn't really see any specific complaints about his portrayal of the character at all. If anything, I heard complaints about them doing it at all. Like,
it's too soon.
Yeah, people were complaining that they did it at all. Not about the specific, how it went down, but just that it had happened.
And I don't think it was that bad.
Oh, no, definitely
I thought it was
not.
really, really good. And there's, can only go up from here.
Yeah, and then there was a whole nother class of people out there who were trying to come up with convoluted reasons why he wasn't the Joker and why various other people in the episode were. Like, people were like, that guy who was the manager's representative in the Fish storyline was the Joker.
Oh.
And they're going to reveal that later. Or the guy who got beaten up and killed. They were like, no, that's the Joker. You'll see. And I'm like, no,
he's dead.
This was very obviously the Joker. I don't think
his face is even the right shape. Like, I keep staring at the picture, and that's the shape.
He may have red hair, but this wasn't a red herring. This is the actual Joker.
Oh, how long were you waiting for that one?
About 10 seconds. I was just waiting for you to finish up your sentence.
Wow.
But there were some good things, some bad things, but I probably those things were probably they're probably the biggest complaints I've had in the entire series. Was just the cliffhangers this episode. Both the episode cliffhanger and the commercial breaks were just a little weak, a little all over the place for me.
Gotcha. So, Oswald's. Rough transition here, but Oswald's.
Oswald's. Or as the penguin may crow.
Worst club ever.
Oh, by the way, trivia. I was watching an interview with Burgess Meredith, the penguin from the classic series, the other day. And
is he going to be on the show? Is he going to be on the show?
No, he's dead.
Oh. See, this is...
probably not going to be on the show. But
I suck.
no, but he was talking about like where he got the well, you know how he always had the cigarette holder and he was always smoking a cigarette. I guess it made him cough all the time. So to cover up the coughs, like anytime he was about to cough, he would just go and that's where the penguin like came from. But go ahead with your point. Oswald's is a flop. Sorry, anytime I need to cough now, I'll just go.
Okay, Oswald's is horrible. I have no idea who they're actually trying to attract here. We've got punks, we've got modern day flappers, we've got his mother, and we've got the recently deceased man who yelled boo. I don't know.
I was glad that we fight. It had been way too long since we had seen Penguin kill somebody.
I know, but this was blatantly in front of like 15 people.
He probably killed those 15 people too.
Not all of them. One was his mother. But there was a sign out front that said free sandwiches and half price drinks. That's where these people came from. I was like, no wonder you're making no money. Free sandwiches and half price drinks.
Yeah. Got to charge for those sandwiches.
You got to charge for the sandwiches.
That's where the money's made.
But it just feels like, Falcone was all, we need to change things up. We need to change things up. This. All he did was change the colors, the tone, and the signage.
Well, I felt in the Penguin part this week, kind of how we've been discussing the past couple weeks, how originally the series was only supposed to go to episode, what was it, 13 or 14 or 15
16?
or so.
Which is this week?
No, I think 15. Wherever Fish part left on the boat.
Yeah.
So I know they probably had to do some rejiggering, and that's what this feels like too, because I'm assuming they were probably planning on killing Butch off too.
Oh.
So I have a feeling that the club flopping because of Penguin is a way to get Butch back on the table because, he became a pretty popular character.
Yeah, he really did. We love Butch.
So I think it was just a way to get him back in there and probably to give, I don't know, Fish a way to potentially reclaim her kingdom whenever she gets back from
That was one of my
summer
things.
camp.
I was like, is Butch really converted or is he just buying his time? Buying his time.
Yeah,
he was too dedicated.
Yeah, he killed his childhood friend for Fish. So I mean, he's not gonna let a few weeks worth of torture stop him.
Sure, we'll let Zaz think he can do what he can do. Also, I think it's a way for them to keep bringing back Zaz. It just, is having him do all of Falcone's work for him.
Yeah, he didn't have his riot girls.
Psycho death bitches or something. I called them.
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't know. I thought it was weird.
Yeah, they got killed off though, or at least one of them did. I think
at least one, but he had 3. It's not like he can't get more. So yeah, there's my issues with Oswald's.
You want to go ahead and?
Oh yeah, you already covered this.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and go into your next point here.
All right, Fish.
I'm
kind of impressed with her. She kind of took over and got them all, like that.
Yeah.
There was no hesitation on anyone that I've seen. Like, not even, I don't know where her guy in the suit went, though. Like, he didn't seem to, but he's not big and bulky.
He was booked on he was booked on Law and Order that week.
CSI, the final season. They wake up on her command. They help the sick and injured get water on her command. She has them trained with hand gestures and formations. Like, I know that there's not much going on down there. There's not too much entertainment. But when were they doing this? And was it before or after the daily meditations that they were doing? Because they were all sitting there like, as they came down.
Well, see, I really think this is we're finally getting to see what Fish Mooney is capable of when she doesn't have sentimentality holding her back. Because even through her whole like machinations against Falcone and everything, there was a history there. There was, at
Right.
least some good feelings back in the day there and everything, which made her hesitate a lot, and also made her attacks more personal than maybe they should have been for her
Right.
to succeed.
Right.
She should have been cold and calculating. And I think now that she's here in
She doesn't give a
the
rat's
underground,
patukas about anybody.
yeah, exactly. She can be cold and calculating and manipulative too, because really what she's doing here, she's doing what any cult leader does, which is she's using that word family to get these people to bond with her and building them up to a place where they're willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater good of the group.
Right.
Where I really don't think that if push comes to shove, when she gets to the manager, if the manager's like, hey, forget about those people down there and I'll bring you in.
Yeah.
Or I'll let you
she'll
go.
be up.
Oh yeah, there's no family for Fish
There's no
Mooney
family. No.
down there.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I guess really they have nothing else.
Mhm.
What else do they? I mean, this is somebody's presenting an idea. Sure, I'll go along with it. Just hope my number doesn't get called and I don't have to get kicked to death.
Uh-huh.
Because, ow. The poor guy, he just looked so scared.
Yeah, he was like,
He knew
"Oh,
what was
crap."
coming. He knew it was coming.
Mhm.
As soon as his number, he's like,
Okay, kill me. No, but I wonder now because we see what they're doing with the harvesting of the organs and everything, and we see Fish very smartly realizes that no, they're valuable. The prisoners are valuable because they need these body parts for something. I definitely think that the whole body part thing. I definitely think the doll maker we got a mention of in episode 2 will probably be behind. This is probably the manager they're talking about. It makes me kind of wonder, though, if maybe this is all connected. This experimentation and this human organ farm and everything is connected to the warfare research that Wellsine is doing with the Viper serum and stuff like that. Also makes me think, I wonder where this facility is. Could it be, I don't know, maybe underneath Arkham or Indian Hill, an old Indian burial ground? This feels very spooky. Like an old burial ground kind of facility thing. So maybe Fish is Indian Hill. Maybe that's why it's so important. Because when the Indian Hill bust open, Fish Mooney is going to be pouring out of there with some dolls.
Interesting.
Yeah, just a couple ideas to throw out
See, you
there.
hadn't mentioned any of this, so I'm completely like
Blindsided.
taken aback and blindsided. I'm like, I don't even have a response.
Well, I saved it for the end.
I like it. Good times.
Excellent. Good. Anything else on Fish?
Oh, hold on, wait. Hold on, wait. Where is it? I see my OneNote, but I want to make sure. I like the hat.
You like the hat?
I like the hat.
Oh, the hat that she's wearing?
Yeah, she got a hat. I don't know who she got it from. I don't know if they're alive or dead, but she got a hat.
Also, one thing I'd like to point out before we finish up here is just that with Jerome having such a father who's so much older, makes total sense to me because I don't know if you've ever known a kid who came from like an older, like elderly father or parent. They're always just a little bit off. They're always just a little bit off. I don't know if
That's horrible.
I don't know if it's just the old cells that that are combined
You have just
to make the
offended
kid.
so many people.
It's only a joke.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Out of 100, no.
Nope.
1,038 nagging drunken whores.
1,038?
Yes, 1,038 nagging drunken whores. How many nagging drunken whores do you give this episode?
Oh, I'm trying to spell that.
Nagging drunken whores.
1,015.
Why?
Because it was really awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
There was lots of good things. Like you said, that there was a lot of hanging, endings. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, hi, why do I like this show?
We're on a show. Where
am I? What's going on? No. I don't know. because how many nagging drunken whores do you really need? Apparently, Bobby needs 1,033 of them.
1,033 drunken nagging whores.
Nagging drunken whores.
Nagging drunken whores.
Rebecca
So
Johnson
confusing.
gives it 1,014.
1,014. Very high marks. You know what? I'm going to give it the lowest mark. I'm going to give it 999
I almost did that.
nagging drunken whores.
I almost did that.
Mainly because of my issues with the cliffhangers. But overall, I thought it was a good episode. A really good episode. I think they could have actually, without changing any of the writing, if they had just reorganized a couple scenes, could have been that full 1,038 nagging drunken whores. Man. But what are you going to do?
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do when they come for you? Okay, guys.
Oh, Bobby Hawk said typo 1,023.
Oh. Big difference
10
there.
less nagging drunken whores for Bobby Hawk.
Okay, well, we're going to take a minute for a message from our sponsor, and then we'll be back with some news and some listener feedback from you guys.
Lots of listener feedback.
Stay
I like
tuned.
Curly World closed down years ago, but the rides are still running. To step inside is to step out of time into a kingdom of magic, surprises, and thrills. Dog Boy follows a trail of abducted children to the gates of Curly World, where the general amusements hide a dark secret he was bred to uncover. How will he answer the demon's dare?
Dog Boy, Demon's Dare by Bill Meeks. Available on Amazon, iBooks, Google Play, and at dogboyadventures.com. And just as a reminder, that is also available as an audiobook at Audible, which you can pick up for free by going to audibletrial.com/Gotham. And we want to thank Audible, too, for sponsoring this week's
Thank you,
episode.
Audible. And thank you, Bill Meeks, for sponsoring this podcast.
Well, you know, it was a little out of my budget. You guys charge an awful lot, but I just had to. And now, on to the news. News. First up, the ratings. And by the way, you can get links to all of these stories in the show notes at legendsofgotham.com. Gotham scored a 2.1, up 17% from last week's series low 1.8, 18-49.
So all of the marketing worked.
Yeah, and I mean 2.1's right around. We
They're
were
average.
floating around 2.1 to 2.3 for most of the season. So yeah, that's about right.
I'll take it.
That's about right. Okay, next up we are going to play. Let me turn this off for a second.
Wait, what's already off?
What do you mean?
Never mind.
Oh, it's all good. But
Don't mind me.
We're going to play the promo for next week's episode, but we generally don't show it on the stream because we don't want YouTube to take us down. But instead, we'll describe it to you. So here we go.
Their hair gracefully
For the
whisked
Red
across
Hood.
the face.
Butch and Penguin.
Flashbacks to Fish.
cheers
Red
in.
Hood.
A lot of Red
A
Hoods
lot of
in
Red
a
Hoods.
bank.
No, I think it was the same guy. The other ones had black hoods.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it looks like a pretty
We're
big
they're
bulky
making
guy.
it rain.
Making it rain some money. Alfred and Bruce boxing, looks like.
Yes.
But
But then Bruce making a 911 call. Help,
Fish,
help,
Fish
help.
says Dr. Dollmaker, so Dollmaker
Oh.
probably. Guns, Red Hoods, throwing.
And Alfred's in the hospital.
Alfred in a hospital bed. Also a really good
Not a fan.
a good cover of Shout, Shout.
Yeah.
Shout. Let it all out. I believe Lord. If I
Oh,
if
is
I
that
say-
who did that version?
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure.
like Lord.
I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Pretty sure.
And the last story we have here, and just I thought it would be fun to throw out here a little bit. I saw this on Reddit this week. This guy, username Zan Yuck, recently had a son, and thanks to Gotham, the middle name is Oswald.
That's fantastic.
So there's a real Oswald out there in the world.
I know, but weren't there some other good ones?
Was there?
I think there was. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Oh yeah, someone else. Gamey L06 says my son was born 2 months ago and we named him Bruce Wayne. I have the coolest beeping wife. But yeah, some good stuff. And the link to the Reddit thread will be in the show notes.
Curly World.
as well.
Curly
Hold on.
World
Years
is
ago.
coming back.
Hold on, there we go. Sorry about that. Curly World.
Nice.
Curly World.
Curly World.
Okay, so now we'll go ahead and get into your listener feedback. As always, when you get done watching the episode next week, I want you to make it rain
Make it rain.
and then walk gingerly to your computer. Email legendsofgotham@gmail.com. Twitter's @legendsofgotham. The Facebook is facebook.com/Legends of Gotham, and the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. 2352.
Ha!
And you guys sent in a lot of good stuff. First off, I believe it's Bobby. Take it away, Bobby.
Hey, Bill and Amory, it's Bobby. This episode had a lot to live up to, and I thought it did a fairly decent job. I was actually even interested in what was going on with Fish and Barbara this week. Of course, tension still seems to be ramping up in Gorkonsville, and with only 5 episodes left, that's probably not going to last too much longer, especially considering Barbara's back in town. And of course, now I want to know what's going on with Fish. Took me, 15, 16 episodes to be interested with Fish. It seemed like when the Penguin's mom was singing, like you could hear it where Fish, wherever Fish is at. So maybe they're in the catacombs. But
When you're smiling, Actually, I like that idea, Bobby, by the way. I also wanted to point out that I really like that montage, and I very much support the dark, creepy musical opening montages that they've been
was
doing.
fun.
Beneath the club, I don't know if that meant anything at all. It was really cool to see Bruce poking around finally start to come to a head. And then, of course, it was really great to finally see Butch. Of course, it doesn't look like they did too much physical harm to him, but they damn sure...
Yeah, he did seem pretty dapper still, but that might just be part of the presentation.
I told you he was playing along. He probably took a day or two of the torture and was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna deal with it."
did something to him mentally. But let's not beat around the bush. Let's not beat around the bush. This was the episode that introduced us to the Graysons. And then, of course, while they didn't name him the Joker. I don't know if Robin's parents have the whole Montague Capulet thing going on in the comics, but I thought that was pretty interesting. And
Oh, yeah, that was a good way to do it.
I liked it.
And those characters don't have a ton of history in the comics until recently. So that was a good... Sometimes they run afoul of the mob. Sometimes they're part of the Court of Owls, but, you know.
then, of course, Jerome. I found it pretty obvious from the get-go that he was the one that killed his mom. And, I mean, if this is where they're going with the Joker, although I wasn't really on board when the show started, I thought they did a damn good job. The kid was spot on. This may be one of my favorite episodes yet, so I'm going to give it 25 of 27 creepy notebook doodles. P.S. Maybe I'm wrong, but through the episode they said that this feud had been going on for 3 generations since before the Great War, World War I, which began in 1914. So let's say 1912, add 3 generations, that's 60 years. So you're looking at, 1972? So that places this series firmly in the 70s.
But they have cell phones.
Interesting.
They have cell phones.
It's a timeless time.
It really is a timeless time.
It's decompressed time. Comic book fans will get that joke.
And then there's the rest of us.
Comic book fans like Andy B, who also our friend over from the Flash podcast. Take it away, Andy.
Hi guys, it's Andy B, and I just wanted to leave my brief thoughts about last night's Gotham. I just finished rewatching it for the second time, and goosebumps. I still have goosebumps from last night. Okay, let's for argument's sake say that Jerome is the Joker. He's our new Joker. Let's say
he is the Joker. It's
confirmed.
not for argument's sake. It's for factual purposes.
For factual sakes.
I love him. I think that he nailed it. I felt a little Heath Ledger in his performance, as well as a little bit of Mark Hamill, but also a little bit of his own take. And I know a lot of people have, this problem with, the Joker shouldn't have an origin story. But you know what? In this incarnation, I'm fine with it. Sometimes it's good to know where it comes from. And I'm sure the movies will take care of, giving us the ambiguous origin of the Joker. Mm-hmm. So
Jared Leto in the part.
Ooh.
Jordan Catalano.
Ooh.
Joker Catalano.
Ooh, I didn't know that. Or
it's kind of nice to have on television someone that has something behind him. I enjoyed the episode overall. The only thing I didn't like was, of course, Barbara, because why would she be taking fashion advice from 2 homeless girls? And they were just they were living in her house without her knowing. It was just odd. But no, I really enjoyed the episode. I really enjoyed Jerome, and I'm wondering when we will see him again. I'm hoping to see him again this season, but I can't wait to hear your thoughts about this episode. So yeah, have a good one, and may the Bat Force be with you or something.
The Bat Force be with us. I don't think I've heard that one before.
That's a new one.
Thanks,
I like
Andy.
it. I like it.
Okay, next up is Michael Lucero. Take it away, Michael.
Hey, Bill and Anne Marie, it's
Hey.
Michael.
Hi,
I
Michael.
really liked this episode. I thought it was really interesting setting up the both the Joker and the Batman storylines in one episode like that. I really liked the actors that they cast, especially the blind fortune teller and the Jerome. I kind of thought that Jerome looked like a really good cast job for the Joker, except for I didn't think his smile really resembled the Joker as we know him.
His smile reminded me of some sort of like demented Howdy Doody.
Demented Howdy
Yeah,
Doody?
it reminded me of like Howdy Doody, or like just like the classic like marketing picture of like a little boy or something from back in the 50s or 60s. Like just like big chiclet teeth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Until he actually started smiling and laughing, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that smile line is perfect." And also, his father, especially the chin and the nose, was perfect. So I really liked that. The only thing I'm really not liking so much is the Fish Mooney stuff. I just kind of feel like it's you can really see where they had to extend things when they got more episodes added onto this season. It just feels a little bit stretched out, but I'm sure they're getting to the payoff pretty soon. Other than that, I really like the whole relationship with Jim and, Leslie, sorry.
Gorkins.
I really like them together, and it's really interesting what's going to happen now that Barbara's back. I really like the scenes with her and Ivy and Cat Girl as well. So, all right, I'll let you go, and can't wait to hear the podcast. Take care. Bye.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Michael.
you, Michael.
And let's see. Next up is Dawn, who
I love that we have so many voicemails.
I know
They're
we
so
got a
cool.
ton this week, and we love voicemails
Yes.
because we don't have to talk.
Yes,
But
and Dawn's is from, actually, she sent it like the day after we recorded last week, but it was
yeah, but
good, so
she
I
was
included
she
it.
was catching up. So
Yeah.
Hi, Bill and Anne Marie. This is Donna War.
Hi.
I'm calling about Legends of Gotham. I just thought I'm way behind, and I just caught up, and I thought I'd chime in on what happened there, because the ratings are going down, and I haven't been watching either, and I will tell you why. Not because it's not awesome, because, wow, it's awesome, but because that seemed like a mid-season finale. So my brain kind of shut off. Like, when the most awesome stuff happens, you go, yeah, that was awesome. I'm going to have to wait a long time to see the rest of that. And your brain kind of shuts off and you forget to look for the show. That's what happened to me.
yeah, I can definitely see that because there were not only just the mid-season finale, but also that episode where Fish takes off at the end of the episode. That also felt kind of like mid-season finale-ish.
Right. And so you just sort of like, okay, I'll wait.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I saw there was more episodes of Greetings from Storybrooke, and I'm like, oh, it's still on. That's right.
I'm pretty sure you meant Legends of Gotham,
Yep,
not
she
our
totally
other
meant-
podcast about Once Upon a Time Greetings from Storybrooke.
But
It's
there are
okay,
more
though,
episodes
Dawn.
of that as well.
Yes.
It wasn't a mid-season finale. I remember them talking about that now. So I just caught up. By the time your next show happens, this will be irrelevant probably. But,
Never.
There's no sense of commenting on anything because it won't matter. I just want to say that I'm watching Terriers now. I love Donald Logue. Is that how you say his name?
Logue, I think.
I love him. I'm like strangely obsessed with him. I have been always. He's never been in anything that I didn't love him in. I never watched Terriers because somebody just recommended it. Because since Gotham, I've been telling everybody I'm like strangely obsessed with him because he's so awesome. And
yeah. Also, people who have Netflix out there, his sitcom from Fox from several years ago, Grounded for Life, just went up on Netflix too. If you want to check it out.
I got recommended to watch Terriers, which he plays a character is not entirely different from Harvey Bullock. That's a good thing you can watch when there is an actual break. Is it when's the break? Is it after this episode? Sure,
It's I think after they finish all the episodes for the season.
30 minutes now. I think that's what happened. I think people thought there was a break, and that's why people quit watching. But it doesn't matter because we get a season 2. Yay! Happy Gotham. Right, bye.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Dawn. We
you.
always love your voicemails. They're so fun.
They're fun.
Okay, and our last voicemail here, we told you we had a lot, is from Rebecca. Take it away, Rebecca.
What's up, Legends of Gotham?
What's
What's
up?
up?
Rebecca Johnson calling about the episode The Blind Fortune Teller. I loved so much about this episode. Getting to know the Graysons, Barbara's scenes with Ivy and Kat, Bruce meeting with Wayne Enterprises using his school notebook, which wasn't very executive-like, but I enjoyed that it reflected his age. Although I'm not sure if kids use iPads more than notebooks nowadays. Not sure. And I think it's interesting that in the notebook he has this kind of really scary monster-looking image in there that he's been doodling. I guess you could maybe say it looks like a bat. I don't know. It's a
Darkness, no parents.
really scary bat, if that's a bat. So that was really fun. And, of course, I loved finally getting to look at this Joker. I was a little...
That sounds like it would be a really good song.
Hey, look at this Joker.
Look at this Joker.
Let's
Look
look
at
at
him.
this
Hey, look at this
Joker.
Joker in a Joker way.
nervous
Joker.
about what Gotham's take on Joker would be, but I liked that he has a connection to Hayley Circus because I think it might explain why he chooses a clown persona in the future. Though it sounds like he didn't much care for his mom's interactions with
No.
clowns, I guess is the best way to say that. The actor playing Jerome brought it with that cackle, and I think that is essential to any great Joker performance. So he did a great job with that. Awesome episode, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Thank you very much, Rebecca.
Thank you.
As always,
Yay.
love hearing from you. Okay, and let's see here. We got a letter here from Fee.
Shall I?
I
Shall you?
was going to. If you,
Okay, go ahead.
Fee says, I am conflicted over Gorkins. I like the idea of them. I much rather Jim be with Leslie instead of Barbara. So
It says Lee. It does not say Leslie.
I correct it every time.
I know.
always will. So I'm fine with Gorkins happening, and I hope they stay together. But I'm just not feeling any chemistry between the actors, even in this week's Gorkins Heavy App. So I can't get too excited about shipping it or get any feels from their scenes. I actually kind of feel the same way.
Yeah,
A little bit.
pretty much.
Morena Baccaran is also in The Flash as the voice of Harrison Wells'
Of course.
mysterious secret supercomputer room from the future, Gideon. And I feel like her disembodied voice has more chemistry with Tom Cavanaugh in those brief scenes than her whole embodied self has with Ben McKenzie.
Ouch.
Calling it now, Leslie Tompkins will be disassembled into a computer by the end of the season.
And it'll be done by the Riddler.
In other news, I thought Cameron Monaghan was fabulous. I know the powers that be haven't officially said he's officially the Joker yet, but I don't see how he won't be unless it's the biggest misdirection in the whole entire history of misdirections. I gather that there's some debate about whether giving the Joker a definitive backstory is a good thing or not, because he's not meant to have one. But as someone who doesn't have any strong feelings about comics canon, I think it's interesting that they've set him up that he knows the Graysons, even to the extent that his mother was sleeping with one of them. They also made a point of him saying that the Circus was his family. To me, that feels like setup so that if the show ever gets to a place in the future timeline where we have a fully formed Joker, they could easily and believably have him go back to the Circus and kill the family he got excommunicated from. Yeah, I actually like that.
I really like that.
Yeah, he
that
could
could
be
be good.
responsible for
An entire
him
circus going down.
a collab between the Joker and Gordon, making Robin. I guess the Graysons would be involved too.
Interesting.
Which of course leads to Bruce looking after Dick, which could be the basis for the adversarial relationship between Batman and the Joker. Looking forward to the podcast. Fee!
I like
Thank
that
you.
she added more E's for us.
Yeah, we always appreciate the extra E.
E,
And
E.
we always, anyone got some E? But
Wow.
I know, right?
Horrible. Okay, so
Okay.
to the Twitters.
Yes.
This week, Win Mercer says, Fish should tutor Bruce in board negotiations. Butch needs dance lessons. Nagging is bad. Love the show. # Gotham.
And Jube Jbot says, I'm loving every minute of Gotham. Did you see # Fruit Brute? Delicious. And that's the cereal from the Tarantino flick.
Oh, okay. 'cause-
It was in Barbara's apartment.
Gotcha. These are the things I don't understand. Wasn't there a third one?
No,
You cut it?
Yeah, I think I cut it
Oh.
because it wasn't relevant.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go then. That's the end of the show. Enjoy.
But I won't
Have a
cut
good night.
yours. So email us legendsofgotham@gmail.com. Tweet us at Legends of Gotham. The Facebook is facebook.com/Legends of Gotham. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And get us your Red Hood thoughts early and often. Now, Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at DeSimone, and I write crunchy things and crafty things at crunchycrafty.com. I lost it. Whatever.
It's fine. And as for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Bill Meeks, and you can follow our YouTube channel where we stream this every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. EST at youtube.universebox.com, which is
Speaking
also
of
where
Universe Box.
yeah, which is also where we're putting out our new podcast, Universe Box, which is stories set to a theme. It's kind of Mr. Rogers for adults, Mr.
A little
Rogers
bit.
for
a little
grown-ups.
bit. I mean, there's
think.
not necessarily moral of the story at the end of the episode.
Yeah, and it's not like for adults, as in like adult material, like pornography or anything like that.
We could do a pornography episode.
No, we couldn't. I don't think I can handle it.
I don't think I could either.
Join us next time for more
Legends of Gotham.
Ending on porn. That's fun.
Ending on porn.
Good times.
Too bad we can't make that the title.
We
We
can't,
can't make that the title.
because then they'd know we were ending on porn. But thank you very much,
Thank
live
you.
viewers. Yeah, and I see, Bobby, you said there. I know it's not actually the 70s. I know what you were going for.
We got you.
I know.
We got you.
But thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Mwah.